Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know.
Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here with Good Morning Portugal show, the podcast, the live stream, and of course the Portugal Club. And the wrong intro video. Seem to have done that again this morning. How on earth are you? I do have the correct video intro somewhere. We might do that just to give everyone a shock a little bit later on, who joins us a little bit later on in the show. 1 minute past 8. Sorry, Matty, but I have to say, it does give me a little bit of pleasure to start a little bit late. Anticipating you giving me a little bit of stick about my late arrival onto the screen. But it just was a minute between friends, especially here in Portugal, which is top place to retire, I think, or safest place to retire. And another day, another meme. And let me load those up and share them with you this morning. The QR code you can see on the screen is so that you can join the growing number of people who are booking appointments in to come and hang out with us in the morning, or to be interviewed by me at a different time of the day and week. So use the QR code there to book an appointment with Carl Munson to be on the Good Morning Portugal show, or to regenerate your old podcast, or to start a new one. First one free, and let's have a chat during that meeting that you can book with the QR code there, and we'll get your podcasting mojo on. Good morning to you. How are you this morning? Yes, be Portuguese about it. Exactly, Matty. Be Portuguese about it. I think, if you don't mind me saying so, you're looking, you're seeming a little German about it. Hey, that's interesting, T-Duck. I reversed my image, and I don't even remember clicking that button. But I think if I go into the, or should I go into the back office? See, I can reverse the. That's interesting, isn't it? I don't think I should tinker any further, and I don't know how that happened, quite frankly. But there will be some sort of technical reason for it. To add to all the technical complications that we all face in our daily lives, including when, as suggested by Matty yesterday, we go and get a thermos mug, a personalized thermos mug. Thank you very much for this link to Temu that we were talking about yesterday. Don't order via Amazon and have it delivered by pack. I think we very we got a right old panning yesterday. That combo for delivering things into Portugal, not good. Amazon and pack. However, the part of the conversation yesterday was about getting a thermos flask. Flask, but maybe a mug, as it turns out, to keep my tea warm throughout the show. I'm here for an hour in the morning. It flies by for me. I don't know if it's, I hope it's the same for you, that time flies while you're having fun first thing in the morning. And I go to click onto this link, and I'm faced with a new technological innovation where you have to slide a piece of jigsaw puzzle on the screen over a gap on the screen. And I'm thinking, okay, that's great. I think I'm verified. And then I find this on the screen where, like, I have to be like a primary school child and face a test. It doesn't look that complicated, but you're thinking to yourself, well, maybe it's a trick question. Let's I've got to play a primary school game before I can go and buy something these days. Am I successful here? The verification process took too long. Please try again. This is unbelievable, isn't it? Oh, but I've been allowed in anyway. And here I can write anything I want on this mug. Like, the machines are chuffing well taking over, something like that. 872. Thank you, Matty. Thank you very much for this thermos flask suggestion, which is 5-star rated. And Temu, they seem to have more and more happy customers. Well, I guess they would be saying that on their own website. Finally, says this French buyer, it's bigger than I expected. It's always great when that happens. But the top review, a French one, is finally in capital letters. This person is really happy about this mug. A mug that doesn't spill its contents into my bike basket. Well, who knew that people face that challenge around the world? This person, for that particular difficulty, has been overcome now, unlike the others I've bought. Yeah, how many others have they got? Yes, it's more expensive at €8. maybe that's the problem. Maybe they were buying cheap thermos mugs before, and they've pushed the boat out as well as their bicycle, and now it doesn't spill in their bike basket. Ooh la la! I've got a picture developing of this French person with their bike basket. A couple of baguettes in there, the mug, a beret, obviously striped shirt, and a string of onions around their neck, but it's wider, so it's easier to clean. And I'm so tempted to buy now. And it keeps the temperature well. Be careful when it's really cold outside. It's a bit more limited, and it's better to drink your chocolate faster. Right. Okay. gone off this one now. Okay. And it could be a Father's Day selection as well. Look, the techies here. Oh, I can play should we play the video? Should we have a look at what the video says as well? It could be a Father's Day. Is that coming up? A Father's Day? No, go away, cat. Pushing the flipping studio lighting around now. We're trying to have a quiet chat about thermos mugs, and now there's a overgrown kitten in the bagging area. Go away. You nearly made me say it out loud on the show. Go away. Hold on a minute. Okay, you were spared all that noise and racket of me shooing a cat away, but it's ferreting around. Cross-species type of behavior description there, but ferreting around in all the wires and lighting behind the scenes. It would have been hilarious for you, I'm sure, but not for me. Oh, look at that. Are we tempted? It's a little bit plasticky, but yeah, that could work, couldn't it, for the show in the morning? I do like the idea of a hot plate, and I might go off-grid and just have a little small fire on the desk, keeping the drink warm. Look at that. There are billions of products in the world, aren't they? And everyone's got a little video, and there's so much tech and info around. We literally drowning in a sea of information, just to end up buying more consumer crap. Anyway, thanks, Matty. No, don't get me wrong. Morning, Mel, T-Duck, and Mike in so far this morning. And Jackie, when Jackie arrives, everyone, congratulate her, if you will, because she successfully passed her henna test and course that she's been doing. And Matty, thank you for being here. And Chris, Tales from the Train to come back to. Oh, yes, and my guest this morning. Okay, I think we've got the right video now. I'm going to play that for you as if the show is starting again. But I did play the wrong intro video in my haste this morning. Let me see if I've got the right one. Yes, I do. So this will give you a clue as to who joins me at 8:30 this morning. It's just been you and me, hasn't it, so far this week, as I recall. A few little changes here and there. And an old face, or a familiar face rather than old face, a familiar face joining us at 8:30. Can you guess who it is from this?
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know.
Oh, that feels right now. All shipshape and Bristol fashion. Who doesn't like Bristol fashion first thing in the morning? And we have Richard Allen joining us at around 8:30 this morning to talk about the fundraising gig that's coming up. And here it is. If you like a Beatles tribute band, the Peakles are playing Where It All Began. Do you remember Communities Unite, Blues Unite? I used to see Nunu up there. And if that's annoying you, let me turn it around so you don't have to look at that backwards there. And we'll keep any other graphics out of the studio camera so they're not backward. But that view of San Martin de Porto Bay is the right way around, so that's okay. And I'm wondering, am I mirrored? Am I seeing what I see in the mirror, which is what I think I look like, but I've only ever seen it in a mirror? Or are you seeing me as you would see me in real life? I don't know. Let's move on. The Peakles are a Beatles tribute band, and they will be part of a fundraiser starting at midday on the 22nd of March. What day is that, Saturday or Sunday? If I know those guys, it's a Sunday. Yeah, it's Sunday, the 22nd of March. You'll see Rich, who is part of the lineup, of course, of the Four Horsemen, Two Shots, and Jam Shack will be playing to raise money. It's a concerto solidario para recuperar Centro-Oeste. So this West Coast recovery, a fundraiser to raise a bit of cash for anyone who needs it, basically, here on the West Coast after the storms and the devastation. So a nice date for your diary. And an excuse to come up to Óbidos, the pavilion, ARCACEN and Capeleira. It's only €5. Look at that. And if you want to chuck more money in the tin, I'm sure they'll let you. It's up above Óbidos, so you could have a weekend here on the Silver Coast, stay in Óbidos, and make your way up to this venue on the Sunday and help raise a bit of cash. Richard joining me at 8:30 to tell us more about that. So thank you for joining us this morning. We will go to Tales from the Train. Kate's here as well. Hold up my right hand. And it is like a deposition, isn't it? It's quite a lot. It's quite a lot of this going on at the moment. That is my right hand, and it's on the left of your screen. Oh, okay. Thanks, T-Duck. Top production input there, as ever. Bon dia, tudo bem? From Kate as well. Good morning to you, Kate. How are you doing? Right, so let's go to your comments, and then there's a bit more music news. I'm really enjoying featuring the music news of artists coming into Portugal. If you've seen any yourself, any bands coming in, artists, and you want to share that with others who love music, very important, isn't it, to be immersing oneself in the arts and connect with that is heavenly upon this earth and in this life of ours, because there's quite a lot of conversations and invitations towards what is hellish. We must remember to balance that with some heavenly experiences for our little time dancing on this little funny planet of ours. Bom dia, alegria a todos. Feliz quinta-feira from Matty. 7 o'clock. He might be back from his dog walk now. Hola, bon dia from Chris. So Tales from the Train then, and His Majesty's public transport in the United Kingdom. Tales from the Train. What? Kid Crow on the Coconuts. Stool Pigeon. Remix. Oh, Stole Pigeon. Remix Fair Dodgers. Cha, 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 cha. Is Chris okay, do you think, this morning? Riding the train and around 30 inspectors catching and finding Fair Dodgers this morning. Game over. Chris is sitting there with a satisfied look on his face, I'm assuming, knowing that he is a law-abiding and fair-paying passenger, whilst others are busted and banged to rights over there. 30 inspectors. I bet that caused quite a stir, didn't it, on the train? I hope it was fair play. Bang to rights. You got me, copper. Here's the money. What happens when you evade your fare in the UK? Do you have to pay double or something like that? Another tale from the train. Passenger gets on and constantly stares at me for 4 stops, then gets off. She freaked me out. But we're very happy to do announcements for you, Chris. I really hope we do this one day. I could have helped you out here. If you could have sent me a text and you could have put your phone on speakerphone, I would say, this is a public service reminder on the train this morning here in London. Please do not stare at other passengers because it freaks them out. Please, I repeat, do not stare at other passengers. It freaks them out. Thank you. Have a nice day. You're welcome, Chris. Anytime. Now we're in the 10 passenger strata, coughing and sneezing orchestra. Excellent stuff. Surely, if you're coughing that much, you should have stayed at home. They got bills to pay, Chris. It's a capitalist society. They can't just stay off willy-nilly unless the government demands that they do so en masse. To another passenger who's just got on the train. This is hilarious stuff, Chris. I do thank you for taking this bullet for us on our behalf. Bad makeup day today. Oh, I won't be reading that out loud on speakerphone because that could get you into some trouble. Oh, Chris, you have our condolences. But you do have a nice hot coffee to look forward to from your own personal barista there in the London. Have a great day, mate. Yes, indeed. Looking forward to the day when insurance pays up. Experts around yesterday. What? Oh, they came and had a look, did they? The loss adjusters were in for you, were they? And I can move back in. And to that solidarity, yes. Okay, very good. Talking about the fundraiser there. Morning, Mike. T-Duck in and urging Matty to be Portuguese about it, who I think is missing that advice this morning. Help with fuel costs promised by many governments, including Portugal and UK. But for how long? It's a bizarre world we live in, isn't it? What a mess. So the governments are creating all sorts of havoc around the world and pushing fuel prices up and then helping people with fuel prices. Wouldn't it be better if the money wasn't spent on missiles and devastation and destruction and just given straight to the people in the first place, or not mugged from them in tax? I don't know. Call me a revolutionary if you like. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. There is a local company in Caldas that does personalizing merch, GMP merch line embossed locally. That sounds good. And I want to get a car that's got Good Morning Portugal on it at some point as well. That seems to be quite an easy thing to do in Portugal, isn't it? If you know the right people, getting a personalised car as well. We must do that at some point. And we did have mugs. They're a bit of a nightmare. I don't really want to be going to the post office and sending things out to people around the world and all that entails. So I did use a print on demand company for a little while, and it was okay, but that's very expensive for the end user, sadly. I think probably the best thing with merch is to get a load printed up, have a meetup, get together, and sell it there. Another thing for the list. Thank you, Mel. Bom dia a todos e feliz quinta. Can sympathise with Chris. I had a little girl coughing at us on a train yesterday, but at least it was a funicular with spectacular views. Yes, and some nice European germs to add to your germ set to build your immunity. Think of it that way. And pictures from the trip. This is now I have to be careful how I say this because, as I was saying, I was enjoying speaking French the other day. And this is the mer de glace, I believe, the sea of ice, right? Is that correct, Coach Turner? But if I say mer de glace, it just sounds like something quite rude and unpleasant, in fact, like an icy poo, mer de glace, or would that be mer de glacé? So it's the mer, as in the sea, la mer, mer de glace, Chamonix, a beautiful picture there. Not only that, but also a picture of the moon last night. You get some beautiful moon risings over there, do you not? That's the moon, everybody, not the sun. En Chamonix, en France, there. Very beautiful. Thank you very much, Coach. While we're in the picture deck and traveling around Europe, as we seem to be doing, the great Italian entertainer, Mario Biondi, is coming. He's got he's like the Italian Barry White in many ways. He's going to be performing at the Casino Espino. Mario Biondi. That'll be a good night from Italy. Jantar Concerto, 10th of April at the Casino. That's quite a good setting as well, isn't it? For a gig, I suspect as well. Maybe it's Portugal's Las Vegas in Espino there. James will be able to tell us about that. Has he popped into He doesn't strike me as a casino man, especially. He's learning Portuguese intensively. So I'm going to have to raise my game next time I speak to him and our opening, as it were, as we both enjoy an opening together. His Portuguese, not his French, his Portuguese will have been very very much improved, I suspect. Other pictures then and other music news. Don't forget, you can go to the Aegeus Cool Jazz Festival in Cascais between the 8th and the 31st. A month of cool jazz music. Although some of these bands I'm not thinking are jazz artists particularly. But anyway, Jamiroquai is on the kind of jazz funk vibe, but he's sold out already for the 18th of July. You'll also be able to see the fantastic Gilberto Gil. Toda Menina is one of my favorite tunes of all time, actually. And I didn't realize it was Portuguese. It's Brazilian Portuguese, but I didn't really realize I was singing along in Portuguese all those years ago when I first heard Gilberto Gil sing Toda Menina, Baiana, etc. David Byrne coming to Portugal. You see, I think it's fair to say great artists coming to Portugal. It was always the case, but I think they're even more now. They're discovering it as part of their circuit, or maybe the promoters are, and telling these artists, you'll love Portugal if you haven't been there. David Byrne then on the 14th, Loyal Kana, who I haven't heard of, but on the 15th of July, Diana Krall, Franz Ferdinand, those great cool jazz artists. I think it's just the name of the festival now, isn't it? Cool Jazz, because the Scissor Sisters I don't have down as a cool jazz act. Chet Faker I do. He's kind of funky. And his cover version of No Diggity, I really used to enjoy some years ago now. But Chet Faker, a pretty good artist to see if you like sort of trip hoppy, hip hoppy, soulful, funky kind of sounds. I think Chet Faker fits into those genres or stands across them. There you go. The Aegeus Cool Jazz Festival coming up in Cascais between the 8th and 31st of July. More music news. We'll chat with Richard about music in Portugal more generally, as well as the fundraising gig that's coming up. And one more bit of music news. Who knew? There was a hi-fi show. I'm really tempted to go to this. Ever since I clicked on the like button of a vintage hi-fi group, I'm seeing all these bits of kit like preamps and speaker stacks and old silver hi-fis made by Pioneer, Matsui, Nakamichi, all these incredible brands that I'd forgotten about that I used to love as a teenager. And I worked in a really good high-end hi-fi shop as well as a kind of budget one as well, and was in and out of Tandy, or I think you Americans call that Radio Shack. Used to love, DJ equipment and hi-fi, and had a pretty good setup myself. A quad preamp and power amp combo. Had some great stuff actually over the years, and I always wanted a reel-to-reel as well. There is a hi-fi show. If you like that sort of thing as well, you can head along to Estoril on the 10th, 11th, and 12th of April at the Estoril Exhibition Centre, which is where the agency is, not far from there in Estoril, the agency office. That's the Hi-Fi Show 2026, music and sound in Estoril in April. For any hi-fi nerds, I think you're going to like that. Excellent. What else have we got here on the picture deck? Oh, that was the tractor show coming up in Orca as well. Don't forget that date for the diary. And this rather pleasing image of the conflict coverage in the Açores. This is how we roll here in Portugal. If you're tuned in, wondering how the media works in Portugal, the Iran war is being covered by a man from our national media station, in a field of cows, of course, in the Açores. That is such a great image, isn't it? It is that in one picture that kind of sums up the incongruity and discombobulation of our times. And I must look up combobulation. I think we're all seeking combobulation, but I don't even know what that is, even if it is a real thing at all. We shall find out. But isn't that a kind of calming image in a strange sort of way as well? 2, 3 cows, 4 cows. How many? It's like one of those tests to see if you're not a robot. How many cows in this picture? I nearly miscounted them there. How dairy would be one caption, would it not? That immediately comes to mind. And while we're talking about Portugal, well done. Thank you again to Canadians in Portugal. Always a knack. João over there has a knack for finding great things. Portugal, and posting them up on Facebook from where this comes. Portugal has been named the safest place to retire in 2026 by International Living. Tripzilla as well, I think, are involved in this survey. Safest places to retire. We've got to, let's count them down. Costa Rica at number 10, Vietnam at number 9, Montenegro 8, not to be confused with the Portuguese Prime Minister, Greece at 7, Italy at 6, Croatia at 5, Spain at number 4, Malaysia 3rd, Ireland 2nd, and Portugal in the number 1 spot for 2026. Well done. Parabéns. Portugal there. I think that's everything from the picture deck for the time being, unless you send me something in on 913 590 303. Let me just have a quick check over there. Come back to more of your comments. Keep it up, the good work. Fill my cup, Phil Cooklin. If you don't have fillmycup.com, PHIL, please do. He is such a great start to the day. Talk about bringing or finding the heaven in life rather than the hell. He's all about that and the power of positive intention. Our mate Phil Cooklin, steadily beavering away with his Fill My Cups every single morning for us. Isn't that fantastic? Cheers, Phil. More comments then, and we might take a quick look. We haven't bought the thermos mug yet. We might take a quick look at some of the headlines over at the Portugal Resident as well, in anticipation of Richard Allen joining us this morning to tell us more about the fundraiser coming up on the Silver Coast here for disaster relief and cash for people who need it. Back from another 4K 1-hour dog walk. That sounds great. With added stretching exercises done. The fun things you can do if you don't have to work. That's before work for you, isn't it, Matty? Or if you don't, I guess you're saying that you work from home, so you can your schedule allows you to do such things. Yeah, same here. We were, isn't it nice? Yeah, just to think, okay, I'm going to break this up, this work day and the to-do list I've got with a little trip out with the dogs. It was lovely to sit on. You know those great big Portuguese stones that are part of landscaping here? They get nice and warm in the sunshine. A couple of days ago, I just sat on one of those up near some new building work that's going on near me. It was fantastic. Jimmy went off and did his thing, and there I am sunning myself with older Peggy on a lovely big hot rock. It's like a big hot rock massage. We went to pick up a friend from the station at 9 p.m. last night. Oh, I see. And went to your forum, presumably in Fundão or Castelo Branco, and did a bit of shopping. It was lovely to see every shop had an option to contribute to those that had suffered in the storms. Yeah, well done, Pete. I'm sure you did. Hola, bon dia from Lord and Lady Travanca. And thank you so much. Very, very thoughtful of you, Barak. Your suggestion, if I needed some things to do in Bologna, where I'm headed later on this month, to reach out to you. Thank you for that, mate. Really appreciate that. Really looking forward, obviously, to going to Bologna to see family, to see my daughter over there, but also to see that lovely city as well. Remember, we have a little survey over at the Portugal Club for Barak and BMZ Travel. Oh, and the Carnation Revolution documentary that Tom Smith recently posted up there. I can't find your survey there. Oh, yeah. Where should we go with BMZ? It was a camper van trip to Coimbra. It was Madrid. Winning at the moment is Bologna, actually, and the Nine Wines Alternative Happiness Summit, and Paris, but not if you're Rui, who did not want to go there, as I recall now. You can vote for that over at the Portugal Club. I shall put the link into the chat for you now, where you'll also find Antonio F's crime report and Portuguese sayings. Antonio, if you're watching, a lunch here in Portugal. I'd love to buy you lunch here in not Portugal. You're already in Portugal, obviously. Our Portuguese best mate and neighbour, Vizinho Portuguese. It's about time I bought you lunch here in San Martino de Porto, mate. So let me know. Come up to San Martino de Porto one lunchtime and let's hang out. Thanks to you are long overdue, my friend, and I really appreciate what you do for us over at the Portugal Club. Chris, if shows staring at your 4 stops. For the person, did you check your flies zipper? Shell, not sh. I think we got the gist of it there. Spell check is getting really. Yeah, it's hard to read as well, Pete. Hola, bon dia from Helen as well, who's in with us this morning, as is Gemini. Good morning, and Sarah. Good morning to see you. Bon dia from Neil. Still no Mayo. Starlink, yeah. Starlink are doing very well out of this. Mayo had been overcharging me. They phoned me. They do drag it out. They tend not to resolve things on the spot, in my experience. They schedule a call so that you can they get another chance to keep you as a customer, or question you or whatever. They delay the process. And when I went to question being overcharged, because I cut my Mayo in anticipation of Vodafone, and we've got the backup of Starlink now, as you're alluding to that you're doing for yourself here, Neil. I went into the Mayo store, as T-Duck suggested, to say, hey, what's with all this overcharging? They called me to say they had issued a credit note and to confirm my complaint. Really nice bloke, actually, Eduardo. And I said to him, I wish all of your Mayo staff were like you. Well, yes, if you don't mind, can you stay on the line and give me a good review? Absolutely, no problem at all. But yeah, that's sorted out now, and you're absolutely right, T-Duck. Going into the store is good. It's like you have to. It's all extra effort, but that's all part of living in Portugal, isn't it? People do like to go into the stores and talk to people, and not everything can be done satisfactorily or quickly over the phone, especially if your Portuguese isn't that good. So that's all resolved now with Mayo, and the Starlink is being tested here. And they must have done so well from the storm. A bit of disaster capitalism for sure, but also the incompetence of the other services who are having their breakfast eaten in front of them by Starlink. Coming in terms of customer service, to make the offer, you can have the kit for €20 and it'll be delivered to you. You set it up, great app, and you only start paying for it once you start receiving data through it. I mean, compare that to the whole process of setting up your system. If you use Mayo, NOS, or Vodafone, or Digi, or one of the new ones, the convenience of Starlink, they've got it right. They really have got it right compared to the old dinosaur and over pedestrian methods that the standing Portuguese carriers, service providers have. And honestly, if I were to recommend any system to somebody coming into Portugal, I would say get Starlink. It's just easy, and convenient, and good. It would appear lots of good customer feedback, So yeah, Starlink are going to be eating the breakfast from in front of the service providers. I don't think you'll be disappointed, Neil, with that. Thanks, Pete, for working the room. That is so strange to think that little Jason K, JK from Jamiroquai, who we used to smoke with when we were meant to be on cross-country runs, sold out all those other artists. Did you go to school with Jason K? And was he a good dancer back in those days as well? Outstanding in his field. Yes. Do you know to what T-Duck is referring to? There he is, RTP broadcaster, outstanding in his field. That's such a lovely, whimsical image. I mean, I know it's a very serious subject, but isn't that brilliant? Thank you for that, T-Duck. Vietnam is good, but I would die of obesity. The beer and the food are so good, says Pete. Well, don't worry, Pete. You could come back to Portugal, where the sale of obesity drugs soars to over 500,000 packages. Isn't it incredible how well the pharmaceutical companies are doing? Here's some obesity drugs to go with all the antidepressants that are being consumed allegedly here in Portugal. So it's quite sobering when you hear about how many antidepressants are prescribed and taken here in this country. In a country we generally, us lot here, love and feel happy in, as so many native Portuguese are on tranquilizers, antidepressants. Not judging that, but the scale of it is extraordinary. It really is. We're too young to die, but lately, stately governments and dissolution leaders, so full of empty promises that really do deceive us, we're too young to die, is a fantastic tune from JK, influenced by Stevie Wonder, of course. Virtual insanity. He nailed it some years ago, did he not? But then again, so did Marvin Gaye over 50 years ago with What's Going On. I mean, this is nothing new, is it? It's the same old stupidity. Just hopefully we have some new methods and consciousness to overcome and transcend it now. The condition is nothing new, is it? I guess the warmongers have got better technology as well, sadly. And I'm very happy to boast about their death and destruction raining from the sky all day, every day, in a very unnerving and quite disgusting way, I thought. To be combobulated, thank you, John, good morning to you, is to bring order to a state of confusion. Organize, combobulate. I like that. I'm aiming for combobulation as the opposite of discombobulated. Combobulate. What's the etymology? Interesting. I thought it was, some sort of urban word and a new one. Like not strictly speaking a well-formed and old-fashioned word, but it appears it would be. Maybe it is. It does sound a bit Victorian, thinking about it. I write to tell you of my fevers and general sense of discombobulation. Right back. Vietnam, I heard from friends, is beautiful, says Gemini, but they love it. They go twice a year for holidays. They love the food as well. Vietnamese food. Ooh, stop it. As someone who is a dual citizen of Canada and the UK and a member of Canadians in Portugal, does this take into account the storms known to have killed, including a British retiree aged 85 in the south? Probably not. I don't think so. And of course, the storms are a factor to be added to the list when considering Portugal, for sure. I don't think factored in at that moment there. Quiz. Oh yeah, okay. Quiz buddies. I'm seeing I've got incoming on 913590303 about the quiz. We're nearly fully booked for next Tuesday, the first Portugal Club quiz at Cultural. Really pleased to announce that. There are maybe a couple of couples or 4 singletons we can fit in on other tables, quiz tables, if you're interested in that. And I'm a bit concerned about Rich. Where's Rich this morning? I'm gonna send him a message now. Are you joining me, Rich? Maybe send him the link as well and find out more about the fundraiser that's coming up on the 22nd of this month. He might be snoozing still. He's a rock and roller, might still be in bed. Oh, he is off online work this week. That's not working then. Yeah. All right. Loads of dogs to walk today, says Helen, after my own. I'm walking some pooches at the local canal later. If there's anyone around Tamar who wants extra exercise, I'm always up for the company. Oh, that's a nice offer. Are you walking dogs who are looking for homes over there, Helen? I'm talking to João Ferreira Not that one, João Ferreira from a dog rescue centre in the Algarve this morning. Looking forward to talking to João, and had the most wonderful, hey, shall I give you a little preview of an upcoming conversation? I hope that the Resi team will forgive me for this, but recorded a lovely interview with a chap called Eric Roth yesterday, and he picked up his guitar and played. It's during the interview. Top lad. Let me just. Oh, there you go. That's the guitar that you can hear there, and I'm just trying to download it now so that I can share it with you this morning. Let's do that while we're waiting for Rich to join us. Eric Roth, a brilliant photographer. Looking forward to releasing that podcast with Eric. A great photographer, professional, well, maybe he's still a professional, but that was his business in Boston before he came to Portugal. And now he's picked up his passion for music again, as well as continuing taking some cracking photographs. EricRothPhoto.com I think is where you can see his work. And you'll be able to see that if you watch the video version of the podcast, you'll be able to see a selection of his beautiful photographs that he shared with me yesterday. And suddenly he said, "Yeah, I'm not all that good on." As I was talking to him about music, I'm not all that good, but I'm going to have a go at my local festa. They've let me join the lineup. And he was very, very modest about his abilities, which if it ever loads up on the screen here, you'll be able. Oh, here he is. This is Eric, who I spoke to yesterday. I think he's incredibly skilled, good with the camera, and great with the guitar.
I came to Portugal on a holiday. Now I'm here all year. Came to Portugal on a holiday. Now I'm here all year. When can I go back home and back to my career? Maybe that's enough. It goes on, but I think that's Eric, probably enough.
I think that's a beautiful setup for people coming to see you to hear the rest of the song, which I want to do now. Isn't that great? Eric Roth, forthcoming on the Resident podcast. Talking of which, they've given us center stage over there. Ines has over on the website. Let's have a little bit of a look at the headlines here. And look, if I may, I may blow my own trumpet for a moment. Look at this. There's now a podcast, some familiar faces here. There is a podcast section right on the homepage here. And that was yesterday's interview or yesterday's release, Creating Safer Communities with Portugal. That's the backstory. If you've ever wondered how Safe Communities Portugal came together, it was Safe Communities Algarve, and David tells a story, and we find out a bit more about the man, the ex-police officer. He was in the Hong Kong police, and he worked with Interpol as well. Or maybe he still does. I don't know. Maybe he can't tell me. But David Thomas, great to chat with him about the aspirations and the future for Safe Communities Portugal and how it all came together, and a little bit about him and his love for the country as well. Jeremy, a Good Morning Portugal contributor, and who's in real life class I'll be going to from next Tuesday in the village here, and Natasha Ton's news review that you can hear tomorrow morning. We'll record that live. Hang out with us tomorrow as we chat about the headlines with Natasha. But that's awesome. I think there must be a whole podcast. But look at these. Fantastic. Daisy Sampson. Wonderful. Alda Philippe. Brilliant. Miguel Franco, a friend of ours as well, of course, here in this community. That's awesome. The podcast page over at the Portugal Resident, and the Prime Minister sticking his finger in the air. I don't think he's finding out which way the wind is blowing there. And I'm beginning to feel distinctly like Richard has blown me out this morning. Didn't that happen last time he was meant to be on the show? Blooming musicians, eh? What are they like? Anyway, I'll tell you more about that. We'll have a look at the playbill again before we finish this morning. Thank you very much for the combobulation definition this morning. Jackie, did you see the message earlier on? Congratulations on successfully passing your henna course and examination. More nice horses, Barack. I miss mine a lot. Where are you based? Agree 100%. I'm not sure what were you agreeing with there. Was it about the description of the tactics that were described by the, I don't know, what's he called? What has he named himself? Chief Warlord or something, isn't it? My 4G Wi-Fi box from NOS has always been easy, good and more than enough for our household needs. Plus, you can take it with you in the camper. I imagine Starlink will take you beyond Portugal, though. Well, there are different versions. You can get a camper version. You can get luxury versions for your boat. All of you boat owners here. Um, I, yeah, there's all sorts, and it is very easy to install. You install it yourself. That's the point I was making, Helen. Is if you come to Portugal and you order one of those, you'll be able to install it yourself with your app and orientate it. Whereas with the other companies, you have to go through the whole thing of going into the shop, ordering it, and with the language difficulties, you get there in the end, obviously. And you might want hard wiring, and you might be boycotting Elon, etc., etc. But generally speaking, the method is brilliant, and that's the future. And I'm sure the companies here must go to that at some point. Having all this service heavy stuff is not the way forward, especially when other people are doing it in a much more convenient way. Enjoyed your interview with the guy from Safe Communities Portugal. Oh, thanks, Andy. Thank you very much for listening today. He's a great guy, isn't he, David? Lovely bloke. How many people over 60 think that it's a good idea to get on your roof? Have they never heard of Rod, Hull, and Emu? No, they probably haven't, Pete. And, in the moment, you're thinking, I'll just pop out there like I used to, like I've done all my life. And it is high risk. It absolutely is, isn't it? Are you making the limit 60 there for people being allowed out on their roofs safely? Thank you very much. Combobulate is a playful modern pseudo word coined as the reverse of the real humorous American English word discombobulate. Okay, which itself is a whimsical creation from the 1800s. Yes, it is. It really does sound like it's from the age of letters, does it not? Where somebody would speak of their discombobulation. And how tiresome it is to feel so utterly discombobulated at this terrible time. I hope it soon passes. Yeah, really good, and I think useful. It's making a comeback. I think we're in the age of discombobulation, and it is up to each and every one of us to recombobulate and to enjoy the beauty of combobulation. First thing in the morning and at any other time of the day, week, month, or year. Oh, yes, they all need homes. Oh, 350 of them. What? In Tamar, though some are probably not suitable. Oh, I have a few favorites. I'm desperate to get out of there. Oh, okay, but you wouldn't mind a bit of company walking the dogs over there over at Tamar Way. There's a request from a fellow Gumper. There are plenty of people over 60 who are fitter and more agile than those under and with experience at heights. Yeah, Pete. Love a bit of etymology first thing in the morning. Agree. I cover at least 10K most days. Never had the time when I was riding a desk. Riding a desk, isn't that a brilliant turn of phrase? Even started running again. That is fantastic. Are you part of our Growing Old Disgracefully group and course over at the Portugal Club, Helen? Have you seen that in the back office there that Coach created for us? The same number of people died on roof repairs than did in the storm. It's more a question of stability and safety. Yeah, it really is. It's a question of desperation as well, though, I think, isn't it? Age has nothing to do with that, in my humble opinion. That's unlike you, Matty. It is more common sense and risk evaluation. You don't have to preface anything you say with a humble opinion. We take you at face value. I love your opinions, and I have to say they're not often that humble, honestly. But nonetheless, I welcome them. I would go on my roof anytime, no problem. Yeah, bring it. Said the man, just yeah, God forbid, Matty. But I think pride comes before a fall, especially so on roofs. I know I've got a mate who fell off his roof, actually, really hurt himself. And the way he described it to me, it's not worth the risk. It really isn't. And you see people all over Portugal, don't you, running about on these terracotta tiles on roofs. It's really not worth it unless you really know what you're doing. You're confident, sober, and fit, and maybe take some sort of safety precaution, that avoids a long drop, because that's a very short time to be regretting that short fall from the roof. It's a long way up when you're up there and you're looking down. As per Google AI, discombobulated originated in the 19th century. I'm loving this morning. Thank you very much, John. In 19th century America, 1825, 1834, as a humorous mock Latin word. Mock Latin, is there a whole genre, a niche of mock Latin-esque word meaning to upset, confuse, or embarrass? Yeah, well, that's fair, isn't it? It was popular. It was a popular faux variation of discompose or discomfit. Excellent. Early, often variant recordings include discombobulated, discombobulation. These were in the 19th century, and discombobulate. Beautiful. Really good. Every day's a school day. Helen, that is very good for you. I am going to start running again as well and do also more exercises. I've been slacking my personal health long ago. Agreed to Pete from Mel, and likely there were plenty of older people available to get on roofs immediately. So a problem. Not saying it is wise for anyone, just not always an age issue. Yeah, well said. You're very welcome, Jackie. Looking forward to seeing you here with your henna kit. Do you think it might suit me? I wonder. Where can you have a henna tattoo? I guess any part of the body, right? Like any tattoo. Ooh, my imagination is running wild. Sorry about the switch. Oh, about the switch to Starlink. Agree with that installation there. Yeah. By the way, yeah, and presumably you agree with the marketing, how good it is, and how easy that's going to be for new people coming into the country to set up, and how they're eating the lunch of the existing suppliers, which is often the way, isn't it? When the existing companies get a bit flabby and complacent and lazy and arrogant, someone rides in and steals that breakfast. I will be likely up on my roof painting and repairing in a month or so, albeit a few months under 60. Wow, Mel. 2 steps to set up Starlink. Plug it in and point it at the sky. It's true. Absolutely. And it's fun as well, because the app is good. You know, you've got this bit of technology in your hands. You feel like a blooming James Bond baddie or something, you know, setting up and pointing it towards the sky. It's a miracle. I get up on our roofs when needed, but fortunately I'm under 60. Do you think you will continue though? Talking point this morning, should over 60s go on the roof? And the etymology of discombobulation, who knew? I get up on our roofs when needed then, says Andy. But yeah, will you be doing that 60 plus? I wonder. How old? Do you have a cutoff point for that? Our roofing guy, carpenter, is 68 and has worn out a few younger assistants that were ripped. Yeah, it's interesting though, isn't it? It's about stamina, isn't it? But even he isn't as safe as my tree surgeon friend. It doesn't take much if you aren't safe. Excuse me. Check it out, says Helen. Very resistant to growing old. Yeah, growing old disgracefully. I'll give you the link actually straight to that. Let me show you where that is actually on the screen now. I'll stop sharing the resident for a moment. We'll go. Maybe we may have time to look at a couple of headlines. Having a chat about all sorts of things. Didn't imagine we'd be talking about this morning. There is the Portugal Club. If I go from that timeline, that's a post that's been clicked on. Recent post there. Up to the top, hit the classroom, and you will see. Oh, Portugal Essentials. Haven't done one of those for a little while. We've been distracted, haven't we? And there's all sorts there, including Vitor and Maria's 30-day Portuguese challenge, which is superb. But if you scroll down, you will get to 50 plus fitness there. That's the God Squad Gentle Fitness Program, which gives you a bit of structure. Obviously, you don't need that, Matty. But there is a nice structure there if you need it for growing old disgracefully. And all sorts of other fun to do with Portuguese history, culture, and information you might like to know. Being here in Portugal and loving the culture, which is what we're all about here, and is what we'll be doing next Tuesday night for the Portugal Club quiz. It really looks like Richard is definitely not joining us this morning, right? Agree with Pete. We both went up on our roof to replace the lost tiles. Otherwise, it would have taken ages to get a professional to do it. We are 64 and 74 years old. Wow. The guys working on our roof are always on rope. Yeah, made me feel a whole lot better. Yes. Lash that rope around the chimney. Once you have seen a serious injury or worse, you tend to make sure you are clipped into a carabiner. Absolutely. The partner of the guy who installed our solar fell off a roof and was badly hurt. My dad only said the week before how brave, foolhardy they were. Oh dear. Andy and I have seen quite a few friends who are tree surgeons, all of whom have seen fatalities. Yikes. And God Squad tip of the day. Tip here from Joao. Recently climbed up the high wall tending the bougainvillea, only to spend the entire 10 minutes concentrated on not dying. Yes, I know that feeling. It doesn't look so bad from when you're on the ground. Then when you get up the ladder or you're perched precariously like that, it's one thing, isn't it, to be up there, but then to be attempting to do something else with some sharp tools or electric tools is a whole other matter. And you're thinking to yourself, maybe this is best left to the professionals or somebody else. Wow, Joao Ernesto. Well, that's that done for the year, hopefully. Or maybe you're thinking of digging the thing out so you don't have to do it again. Plastic plants, maybe. No. Definitely not. But yes, I do recognize that feeling. And you're thinking, why am I doing this? Why did I think it would be okay to do this? Right. We'll make mention again of that fundraiser that Rich was meant to join me to talk about. Before we go there, just a very quick scan of the Portugal resident homepage. Let's take a look. What's the PM sticking his finger in the air about? PM reiterates Portugal did not endorse the attacks on Iran. Should you want to know that and the positioning? I guess the inconsistency or difficulty is the use of the airbase at largesse as well. Talking of largesse, sorry, that's an uncomfortable link. Scale of obesity drugs sourced to over 500,000 packages. Drugs cost more than $300 a month, not yet subsidized by the state. Wow, that's good business. 500,000 packages, people buying them themselves at €300 a month, obviously feeling they need the help of the drugs. And I think we might have another IMHO coming in. Well, why spend extra money to get drugs that make you less obese when you could spend less on food? Maybe. I know it's not as simple as that, but that's what some people might be saying. Sales of obesity drugs skyrocketed in Portugal last year. This is exceeding 500,000 packages sold, almost 5 times more than in 2024. This is the Ozempic and others, isn't it? The type of drug. This is all the more surprising when one realizes these drugs cost the people taking them more than €300 a month and are not yet subsidized by the state, with the emphasis there on not yet. It's coming, I guess. Rui Santos, president of Medicines Authority Infomed, confirms that work is ongoing to establish a form of state subsidy. But in the meantime, yes, I imagine there are pharmaceutical company representatives knocking on the door of the government as we speak, saying, hey, how about this subsidy then? And we've overpriced the drugs by 500%. We could discount that down 100% to give you an overinflated price, but less than people have to pay. You pay the rest, blah, 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 and on it goes. But in the meantime, allegedly, what is that hanging out of that man's shirt there? Maybe best... He said soonest mended. Rui Santos then has been talking, I guess, to his colleagues and to pharmaceutical colleagues. But in the meantime, hundreds of thousands of nationals are popping these expensive modern answers to obesity. According to data from the National Association of Pharmacies, based on information from Health Market Research, the HMR, the significant growth in sales has been mainly driven by the entry of Mounjaro and Wegovy into the Portuguese market. Are they Ozempic competitors? It's funny, isn't it, how drugs companies, I'm guessing it's probably the same one, isn't it, just marketed in different ways to create a kind of, a sense of competition, perhaps. I don't know that for sure, and it may be untrue. Check for yourself. Data released to Lusa News Agency to mark World Obesity Day today. Wow. Who knew? March the 4th, that was yesterday, shows a growing demand for these drugs since 2019, when only 45,000, nearly 46,000 packages were sold. In 2020, this rose to 46,500, and the numbers have been increasing in leaps and bounds ever since. I was going to say, unlike the people who are taking them. That's not fair, but I couldn't resist it. Currently, there are a number of drugs containing... a number of drugs containing used for weight loss available on the Portuguese market. Orlistat this is like being the person who works at a paint factory, right? Has to keep coming up with names for paint or colors of paint. Here, this was given to the interns at the pharmaceutical company and the marketing department. All this stat, let's go with that. That sounds like it does something. My Simba, which sounds very Disney-esque, which is a combination, it would look, of bupropion and naltrexone, Saxenda, which is liraglutide. They're taking them proverbial, aren't they? Making this up. Wegovy, which is semaglutide, and Mounjaro, which is terzipidide. The National Association of Pharmacies points out that Mounjaro has therapeutic indications for type 2 diabetes mellitus as well as weight control. State subsidies for these drugs have been demanded by specialist doctors and patient associations for some time now. What a world we live in. Paula Freitas emphasized, who is she? Speaking for, she's the president of the Portuguese Society of Endocrinology, Diabetes and Metabolism, SPEDM. Paula Freitas said that the surgical obesity treatment centers are working better and better, but demand remains very high. She gave the example that at a center where she works, ULS Saint João, around 1,000 patients are operated on each year, but the waiting list is long because there are many, many patients in need of a surgical solution. In addition, the endocrinologist explained many of them need pharmacological treatment before and after surgery. Paula Freitas emphasized that obesity is a chronic, very complex disease in which patients will need all available strategies throughout their lives. Fortunately, we now have good strategies, and we hope to have even better ones in the future, with the evolution of surgery and drugs, insisting that many tools are needed to treat this very serious disease that causes so many deaths. Isn't it more of and far be it from me to challenge an endocrinologist, but isn't it more of a syndrome or condition rather than a disease? Does it not describe a disease that's going on as an umbrella term? Anyway, fascinating. And another one of those headlines or situations where you're thinking, wow, this is some world we're living in, isn't it? What a world. What a world we live in. Hold on a minute. I need to just talk again. Well, I'll do that after we check in with your comments here. But our scheduled guest is a no-show. However, we've got... Oh, Rich is here now. Let's bring him on now. Are you ready, Rich?
I am. Can you hear me okay, Carl?
Yeah, not loud and clear. I thought you were a no-show today, mate. Lovely to see you. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I did message you. It's very apt, actually, what happened this morning. We'll maybe go into it later, but a neighbour over that away, came off the roof. And no, it's okay. Everything's good. Everything's good.
Right.
So apologies for my lateness this morning.
Well, not at all. But
it's quite apt, really, as we're probably going to talk about repairing people's houses and things. It's probably very apt.
Rich,
that these type of things happen.
It is uncanny. We have been talking about people going on their roofs and that they shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And you had someone going up on their roof and falling off this very morning.
Yeah, and the sad thing about it is, he didn't have massive damage, but it was bad enough, but no insurance.
Oh, to his house, not to...
Yeah.
Yes.
So the people are forced to do these things.
Yeah.
So, what do you do? You know, it's a bad situation.
How is he? How's he doing? What did you hear?
Good,
the kerfuffle?
Absolutely fine.
You went over and sorted it out, did
you?
No
problem. Just a loud bang and a ladder moving from left to right.
Oh no, one of those. Yeah, okay. I think we've all been there, haven't we? To some extent, we've been on a sliding ladder and thought maybe I shouldn't be doing this, but it sounded like he went the whole hog.
It's true, because I got a rollicking, because just after the storm we had some damage from where I'm sitting now.
Yeah.
And I decided to get up and fix it because I can, so I did.
Yeah.
But as my wife politely pointed out to me when I got home, probably wasn't the most sensible thing to do in the rain while she wasn't here as well. So she's probably right.
I can imagine the scene, Rich. I really can, because there's you proudly saying, well, you know, what you've been up to? Well, I've been up on the roof. I fixed the roof for us, you know, thinking that's going to be some brownie points and you've done your job. And it's like, why would you do that when I'm out? You silly...
pretty stupid. It is really, but you you in your head, you're still 20 years old, aren't you?
Absolutely,
you know,
that's part of it. That is absolutely part of it, isn't it? And
yeah.
you're thinking about taking your top off up there, shirtless on the roof.
Okay, steady on now, mate. Steady on. It's breakfast time for people.
Yeah, all right. Yes. Well, thank you, and I'm sorry for your neighbour and
No
the
worries.
kerfuffle in your neighbourhood this morning, and thankfully it sounds like he's all right.
Yeah, all good, all good.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. Right. Well, it's good to see you on the screen again here, and for a very good cause. And it takes us back, doesn't it, to some of our very early conversations, Blues Unite, Communities Unite, and back to that hallowed ground where those gigs took place. And here we are. Tell us more about it and the motivation, Rich.
Well, I think, to be honest, I'd sort of missed what Joe and I were doing for Communities Unite due to other sort of, I suppose you could call them work pressures or labour of love pressures anyway, with the
Commitments,
bar,
yeah.
etc.
Yeah.
And now that's, for me, that's fallen by the wayside. I was thinking anyway about getting Communities Unite back on the road again,
Cool.
and doing some good and helping. And then, of course, along came the storm and the devastation. We were lucky, actually. We were in Porto when the storm hit, and Porto was really predominantly unaffected by the storm. But when we drove back down the following day, literally, I mean, up towards Leiria and etc. in that region, just before we got home, the devastation was just, it looked like a nuclear bomb had gone off. I couldn't believe it. Trees, not so much uprooted, but snapped off, a third of their way up their trunks. And then you saw the houses just gone. They were literally gone. And I think when you see it sort of like that firsthand, and then you hear the stories up there as well of, as a poor woman, a young woman who was lying in her bed. And this video is actually on YouTube somewhere. And she had a house taken away from around her while she was sleeping.
I saw that. It was terrifying, wasn't it?
Horrendous, Carl. Absolutely horrendous. And so I think the idea in my head was, listen, we've got a vehicle. Joe's in the UK, but I'm still here.
Yeah.
We've got Communities Unite. We've got a vehicle. The association were already thinking about getting food together, nappies, things like that, to distribute to the interior, which was the area which really wasn't getting the help and support it needed.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, let's do something. So I'd spoken to the association by me, and then a guy called Steve Poole contacted me about doing. Yeah, I think I've known Steve for quite a while. He's always been involved with lots of fundraising and charities. He's a very good organizer. And he'd had the same idea. He contacted me and said, look, I'd like to we want to do something. How about, would you be interested in arranging the music? He was thinking of a mini, super mini Live Aid type thing.
Yeah.
So I met him, and actually he was thinking much bigger than me. He was thinking to do a big gig at potentially the Expo Centre, and get some big bands in and raise like serious cash. So we talked, and to cut a long story short, the idea is to do this gig at Capeleira to instantly raise some funds. We're hoping to raise like €5,000 if we can on that day.
Nice. And
then do a much bigger gig in May the 23rd at the Expo Centre. Which will potentially involve as well bands coming in from the UK as well as Portugal.
Really?
And I'm talking. I'm not going to say who at the minute because nothing's been absolutely confirmed. But when I say much bigger bands, I do mean that. And
cool.
And hopefully raise €50,000 on that day in total to get to them. So that's the history of it. And there we go. And I managed to get. The majority of the musicians are playing for nothing, but we also managed to get the Peakles at an incredible rate, and fair play to them. Yeah. We'd had a deal with them a long time ago. They honoured it plus some, so they've been really, really good to us as well. And then MVC sort of fronted it with the other charities as well. A lot of the other charities are helping, SVC, so on and so on. They're all up there and they're all doing a great job. And of course, the association, who are going to give a sizable chunk of their profits on the day, and hopefully all of the door money will be going towards the people that really need it.
Brilliant. Oh, that's great. So that's really good news to hear. So not only this one, where you can see your band, the Four Horsemen, the Peakles headlining, great a Beatles tribute, Two Shots and Jam Shack, but it'll be like the jump starter to the big gig coming up in May. So will you be able to buy a ticket at this one for the big one? Is that the idea?
Yeah, I think that's the idea. I've got enough on my plate with organising the music, so I think it might be a really good idea to get Steve or Becky on, and Becky and some others are arranging the marketing for it all. Might be great to get them on as well on a separate one to talk about that for detail. But I think the idea is that, yes, the big gig will be announced on that day formally, and tickets should then be available. That's the idea.
Great stuff. Wonderful. And I was in the Expo Centre, of course, as you were last weekend, because it was the Caldas Beer Festival, which I really enjoyed again. And I went on the Friday night when it had opened. Nice little brassa duo. They're good, aren't they?
They're sadly they're not really together that often. I remember they actually previewed, I think the first gig they did, proper gig, was at Communities Unite.
Was it?
Yeah, a long time ago. But one half of Brassa Duo, Gilliam, he's actually mostly now in France. So they don't get together that often, but he came back for a bit of a holiday here, got back with Pedrino, and they're an excellent band, as in fact
they
all
really
the music
are.
was this year.
And I was only able to see a little bit of the festival, went with the family on Friday night, and it's truly a family event. My 7-year-old was saying, is there going to be kid beer? I said, well, kind of, but the play area, the bouncy car, I have never seen a bouncy castle. Well, small village, really, wasn't it? I've never seen anything like it.
I've never seen a bouncy castle that big.
So great job to everyone who was involved in the beer festival.
Yeah, they did a marvelous job.
It was really good. Did you enjoy your gig? Did you played obviously on Sunday?
Yeah, it was. We closed the show on the Sunday, and it was absolutely brilliant. It was very lively, very good, and we had a great time. But we were a little bit disappointed because they wouldn't let us on the big bouncy castle afterwards. So that was.
Was that going to be your finish to your show? Like
we were going to try, but it
put your
didn't work.
Down and then take to the summit of the bouncy castle. Like great venue, great idea. So if you can come to, if you don't live locally, why not come to Óbidos, the Silver Coast, for the weekend, and then go to the gig on the 22nd of March. I mean, it's only a £5 to get in.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be the beginning. You can give more, I'm sure, on the day, and it's going to be the starter pack for the big gig, live aid-ish sort of style with Steve by the sound of it, for Expo later on in May. Good work, everyone concerned on that. That's fantastic. And watch out for some big names. Possibilities for that May gig as well, Richard, who you're in negotiations with.
Yes, and I'll come back on, because hopefully, if we're talking again beginning of next month, and we're carrying on now with the music review and theme, then I'll have a lot more news about that and other things happen in the area next month.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to get in touch with Bonnie Tyler at the moment because I want to interview her for the Resident podcast. But there are a few artists, aren't there, who you think love Portugal, who have a place here, who might be up for being part of a lineup.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. So,
maybe Funky Worm probably won't be playing, to be fair. No one wants to see a Funky Worm first thing in the morning. That's another story. Rich, anything else caught your eye on the music scene? I've been saying, and I've been sharing a lot of publicity for bands that are coming over. Are you agreeing with me that we're getting, we've always had great bands coming to Portugal, but there seem to be more of them. The volume is increasing in every sense.
Yeah, it's a lot more. And I think Portugal's becoming a destination as well now, which it probably didn't used to be for better known bands. I mean, Suede is coming to Lisbon at the end of this month. Yeah. That's a great thing on that scale, but also on the smaller scale, touring bands that are trying to get off the ground or, you know, making a living out of professional music, but playing much smaller gigs. I'm getting more and more approaches for that. And so it's really interesting and really positive, because I think the music scene now, like we said last time we spoke, is at a place which is way better than it was, you know, maybe 4, 5, 6 years ago.
Yeah, great. And we need it, I think, at the moment.
Yeah.
It's really important.
No, we do, you're right.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we talked about that before as well. So long may that continue, and let's get more and more international artists, as well as the newcomers coming in and seeing it as part of a great circuit to be on and come and enjoy Portugal whilst playing here and working their way around the country. Rich, all the best with this. I'm sure you're going to have a great time on the 22nd of March with the Four Horsemen, and the Peakles are headlining there. It'll be at the Pavilion ARCACEN and Capeleira up there above Óbidos. It's a great spot, isn't it? And the food will be awesome as well, won't it? The food's going to be great, I'm sure.
It's going to be a slightly different format, because it won't be. We're expecting potentially 500 people plus. So we've got an indoor option if it's raining as well, so there's no problem, and it's on the same site. But yeah, the food options will be just buy your food when you're there, and there'll be some different simple offerings. They won't be able to do the full barbecue, because for obvious reasons, trying to serve that many people would be near impossible. So but there'll be great food offerings, great drink, and it's going to be a wonderful day in which to get rid of a few quid and help people that I think the worry is, Carl, people quickly forget when the sun comes out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're down the beach and they're back in normal life again after this horrible 2 months everybody's had. Excuse me.
Right.
And I think it's really important. We've got to remember there are people living in tents.
Yes, yeah. We got someone in our community this morning saying they still haven't got their Mayo connection back, which compared to having to live in a tent is different. But still, you'd expect, wouldn't you, in an advanced country like Portugal, they'd have got that sorted out. But that's just one indication of how people have been cut off. And there's a massive struggle going on to connect people at all different levels, whether it's their Wi-Fi or the roof over their head. And this will be part of the fundraising to help people most in need. 22nd of March, midday, kicks off. Peakles are headlining, Four Horsemen, 2 shots, Jam Shack at Capeleira, where the Communities Unite vibe began. Under the leadership and the inspiration of Richard, who you can see on the screen here, who will be playing in the Four Horsemen. Cheers, Rich. I look forward to seeing you there.
Thank you, mate. Thank you very much.
See you. Thanks for being here, and lots of love and healing vibes to your neighbour.
Yeah,
cheers, mate.
Yeah, already sending them across. Cheers.
All right, thanks everyone. See you again tomorrow. Take care.
Bye. In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need